Hi, so friends. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you a detailed way of making your hip padding tight. So this is the before and this is the after. So you can see the big difference here. It takes out any form of hip dip. It gives you a very perfect curve. You can see how seamless that tight is under the dress. This is how it looks like, very neat and fine. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Subscription is totally free. So first thing first, let me show you how to take the measurement for the hip padding tight. So I'm using this mannequin for the measurement and I don't want the mannequin to be exposed. That's why I'm wearing the mannequin this. So first thing, take your waist measurements like this. And on the waistline, go ahead and take the length of the tight, how long you want it or how short you want it. You have to take the length of your tights. Then go ahead and measure your butt or your client's butt like this. This is very important. It will help you know where the hip padding will sit perfectly. Another thing you need to know is that you need two type of hip measurement for this hip padding tight. One is going to be your actual hip measurement and the other one is going to be the fiber or the padding hip measurement. That is, if your hip measurement is 40, go ahead and add 3 inches to that your hip measurement, that 40, which is going to be 43 now. So 43 is going to be your fiber hip measurement or padding measurement. You can add more than 3 inches. It depends on your preference. It depends on how big you want the padding to be. Please do not skip any part of this video so you will understand in detail. This video has been the most requested video and that's why I am bringing it here, and I tried my best to be very detailed on this video. So I went ahead now to mark 3 inches here and 3 inches here and 3 inches here. After doing that, I'll just go ahead and connect this line together. So I'll just connect all the way down and all the way down here. And the next thing is just to measure the length of the tights. I'm just going to mark the length here and I'm going to connect this line. So this is going to be the waist line. After doing that, the next I'm going to go ahead and mark the depth, crotch depth. So you can take the measurement for yourself or you just divide your actual hip measurement by 4 and it will give you your crotch depth. I'll go ahead and roll this and this is our crotch depth. The next is your hip line. So waist to hip measurement you take. I know I didn't show this measurement when I was taking the measurement, but you understand what I mean. Just take your tape and measure from your waist down to your hip line, and that is the measurement here. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead and divide the fiber measurement, that is the padding measurement. I explained this earlier. So I'll divide that measurement now by 4 and I'll mark it on the crotch line and also on the waistline. So like I told you guys the example of the 40 and 43. So it's the 43 now you divide, that's your hip measurement where you added the allowance, the fiber measurement, and you mark it. So now I have this box here. The next thing is to have this crotch curve. I'll go ahead and extend this line here and I'm going to go ahead and divide your actual hip measurement, not your padded hip measurement, actual hip measurement by 16 and you mark it here. Everyone's own is different, so you divide your own actual hip measurement. I came up here I think by 1.5 inches just to guide me. You can use your curve ruler to just have this curve here. After doing that, on the waistline I'm going to be marking the dart measurement. So that measurement is your nipple to nipple point. You divide it by 2 and that is your dart measurement. After marking the dart measurement, I'm going to be marking the waist measurement on the waistline. Just divide your waist measurement by 4 and you mark it here. After doing that, I'll go ahead and connect that line from the waistline down to the hip line. I'll connect it this way. Then on the crotch line, I'm going to be dividing it by 2. We want to have our center point here. So I'll divide it by 2 and I'm going to mark it here. I'm going to come down by 3 inches because this is where the thigh measurement is. Again, I didn't show all this measurement, but I believe you know how to take your thigh measurement. So this is where your thigh measurement is going to be. I'll go ahead and connect this line all the way down to the length of the tights. So on the thigh line, I'm going to be marking the thigh measurement. That's, you divide your thigh measurement by 2. So let's say your thigh measurement by 2 is 12 inches. What you need to do, just place 6 inches this way and 6 inches this way. Just try and centralize it. That is the importance of the line. And this measurement is just where the tight length is. You just measure that point and divide it into 2 and mark it there, like I showed you. I hope you understand. Then connect this to this, just like that, then curve here. It's just like your regular shorts, the way you cut your shorts or your trouser when you're drafting. The only difference is just the addition to that hip measurement. Down here on the waistline, come down by 1/2 inch, and this is always very important so that this crotch area will not be folding, it will be smooth. So I come down by 1/2 inch. We're done with the front. So for the back, we're going to go ahead and measure, divide that point by 2 inches. That's the dot there. I want to have the midpoint, and I'll come up by 1 inch. This 1 inch, you can come up more than 1 inch. It depends on how big your butt is. Okay, so you can come up by 2 inches, 2.5. It depends on how big your butt is. So I'm going to go ahead and extend this crotch curve here, and I'm going to mark 2 inches there and 1/2 inch all the way down. I'll go ahead with the ruler and just connect this point all the way like this curve here. Please take note, the back you need to check. If you have a big butt, check. If not, if you do not add this allowance up here, your tights won't sit properly. After doing that, I'll go ahead and measure the waistline for the front like this, and just go ahead and slant it and mark it for the back measurement. On the hip line, I'll go out by 1 inch, and on the crotch line, I'll go out by 1 inch. Then here is 1/2 inch. I'll go ahead and connect this together, this curve together. I'll connect here to here. Then on this part, I'll just come out by 1/2 inch here. Then I'll connect this all the way down. So you can see for the back and front length for the tights is the same, only the back up for the waist is higher. It is very important. After doing this, I'll go ahead now and trace this out on a pattern paper. So I place a pattern paper under it like this. I tape it down. I want to trace the back pattern on a new pattern paper. So mind you, the red marker is for the back while the black marker is for the front. Please do not be confused. I'll go ahead and trace this out. Please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and like this video so this video can be pushed to other people. Thank you so much. So at this point, I hope I'm not too fast, and if you're understanding, please just write in the comment section understood. So I'll go ahead and tape this down, then take my marker and just try to draw out what we just finished tracing. That is the back pattern. So after doing this, I'll go ahead and cut this out. So we now have our back pattern. Moving forward, the next is the front pattern. Like I told you guys earlier, the red marker is the back, the black is the front pattern. So I'll go ahead and cut this out, the front pattern out. Once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and place the back pattern. So this fabric is on fold, you can see. I just went ahead and placed the back pattern we just finished cutting out, and I place it on the fabric. So at this point, I'm just measuring where the zip is going to stop. So this particular tight will have zip. So there are some tights you make without zip, and I taught that in my class, my hip padding class. There's no time for me to be teaching all that here. It's going to be too long. So I added this allowance for the zip. You can actually add this allowance on your pattern paper when drafting. I just wanted to add mine to the fabric. So I'm cutting 1/2 inch this side and 1/2 inch all the way this way. It depends on the fabric you're using. You do not need to add 1/2 inch. There are some fabric that are stretchy, and all these things was covered in my online class that we just finished having. And you cut this out. If I start to explain this here, the video is going to be too long. So we're going to be needing 4 pieces of this back pattern. Okay, we are going to be using the same fabric for the lining because I want to add lining to the hip tight. So you're going to be cutting 4 of these back pattern. I hope you understand. So this is 1, this is 2, 3, and 4. And I'm just using the chalk to mark the wrong side, so when I want to start sewing it, I won't be confused. So moving forward to the front, I just placed the front pattern on the fabric. You can see the fabric is also on fold, and I'm going to be cutting this with 1/2 inch all the way around. And I'll also cut 4 pieces of this. So after cutting this 1/2 inch all this way around, so I'll go ahead and bring the front pattern again. So here I'm just marking that measurement, then I'll connect it down here. Then at the side, I'll go ahead and come down by 1/2 inch. So on this waist side, I'm just going to mark 1/2 inch here. Then I'm going to go ahead and measure that butt measurement we took. So 12 inches was what I measure, but I'm marking 13 inches, and I'll explain later. It was 12 inches for the butt measurement we measure. I showed you how to take that measurement earlier, but I'm marking 13, so I'm adding 1 inch to it. I use my marker and just carve out this, so you can see that measurement there is just a guide, so that the padding will not be more than that measurement. It's just a guide, so you just curve it all the way. It is important to label it, if not you might be confused. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. You cut it out, then that's done. So for the back pattern, I'll just go ahead and measure 2 inches here. So this is where, from this zip side, I'll just measure 2 inches. It's also a guide so that the hip will not be too big at the back. Then for this side, I'll come down by 1/2 inch, the same thing I did for the front. And here I'm going to be marking 13 inches. It's 12 inches, but I'm adding 1 inch allowance. And the reason here is that so that the padding will sit well to the butt. You can measure 12, and by the time you're done sewing, the padding is now higher than your butt scrap. So with that 1 inch allowance, it will make it sit below your butt scrap. So once I was done, I just went ahead and traced out this curve. Just go ahead and draw this curve like this, and I cut it out. You can see, just follow this video in detail, and it will guide you when you're making your own tights or for your client. Do the same thing and label this down. Please, I would like you to recreate this and tag me so I'll see. This is the front and this is the back, and I'm using a fiber for the padding. You can use other things. So I'll go ahead and cut the front. This is for the front. I'm going to be cutting 2 pieces of this, and I also cut 2 pieces for the back pattern. So this is me trying to label it so I will know where the front, the up, side, and down is. I use pin, but you can use your marker. Just write up right side and right down, so in case you want to join it to your fabric, you're not going to be mistaken. So you know where the up is. Mine, the pin is already directing me, so I know where my up down is. So I went ahead and mark 1.5 here, and I'll just shred this. This is just to make it sit smoothly. You have to shred this, and that 1.5 is just to give a guide on how to shred it. So I'm going to make this place flat, and I'll blend it to the other side. You can see how it is. It's looking flat, and I'm going to be doing the same for this other ones here. Exactly the same thing. I'm going to be doing it for these other ones here. So this is the fabric. So this is the front pieces. I'm going to just go ahead and join the crotch area. So this is like the main fabric. I told you I'm using the same fabric for the lining. Don't be confused. After cutting that, I also bring up the lining, and I'm going to be holding 1/2 inch for the crotch. I showed you I added 1/2 inch while cutting on the fabric. After doing that, I'll go ahead and notch it. It's important you notch this. Iron needs to be flat. It will make your work look neat and smooth. So after notching this, take it to your ironing machine and iron it flat. I'll go ahead and open this line. I'm going to be working with the lining. So the lining here, I'll go ahead and open it up, and for this side, I'll just come down by 1 inch. Coming down by 1 inch, I'm going to be placing this fiber, and I'm showing you my pin. My pin is already showing me where the up is and where the down is. So at this side, I'm just going to be keeping 1/2 inch. So that is where we're going to be joining it to the back. So it's important you keep that space. I'll do the same thing this way. Come down. I'm showing you the direction, and I'll come down by 1 inch, and I pin down my fiber. So I'll keep this 1/2 inch for the joining, and I pin this down. After pinning it, I'll take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew this down. It is always very important you recreate things like this so that you know what works for you, and you're going to learn faster that way. So after sewing this here, I'll just try cut out the thread, and I am done sewing this way. I just went out with my gum. I'm just using this gum to gum this fiber down to the fabric so that it will be firm, and I'm going to be doing the same thing this other side. Just gum it down so the fiber won't shift. So this is the back pieces, and I went ahead to sew in the fiber. I did the same thing I showed for the front to the back side. You can see I kept the space and all that, and I want to gum this down too. Just gum it this way. So after doing this, I'll just bring back the back piece, and I'm going to be placing the front piece to it. Then I'm going to be sewing it with the 1/2 inch we kept earlier. That's important of the 1/2 inch. So I'm just trying to pin this down. It's important to pin, and also with the 1/2 inch all the way down. So anything I'm doing this side, I'm also going to be doing it the other side. I'll sew this down, and I'm going to be gumming this too. So you can see I'm trying to gum the two fiber together to form one. I hope you understand. So after doing it there, this back to the main fabric, I'm going to bring the back pieces, place it here, and sew for the side. I'll do the same thing this other side, and I'm going to sew this side down. Please do not forget to like this video, and to my returning subscriber, thank you so much. We are at 6,000. I am very happy. Thank you so much for the love and support. After doing that, I'll just bring back the lining to it, and I'm going to be placing this fabric, the main fabric, to the lining. Pay close attention so you will understand. So down here is the down part of the tights that I am pinning. I'll go ahead and sew this part. I'll sew this, and after sewing this, you can see this joining here. I'm going to open it up this way. Then the joining, I'm going to push it to the lining side of the fabric. I'll push this joining to the lining side of fabric, then I'm going to match the thread on it. Don't be in a hurry, just take your time and sew this. And if you're confused, just come back to the video, watch it carefully, you will understand. So you can see I finished doing that. I'm always cutting out my thread. So this is the next side, the down part. You can see I'll just bring this here, place it on that down part, and I'm going to sew it. And when I mean down part, I mean the length. That down length, we added 1/2 inch, so that is what we are sewing. Just be patient, we watch the video, you will understand. So after sewing that, you also just press it, and it will look this way. You can see how neat this is now. A lot of pin. I'm always pinning. Then this is the zip part, because these tights we're going to be putting zip to it. So I just want to just sew this down. You can, the main fabric and the lining to be one piece. That's why I'm just sewing this zip side like this. I'll go ahead, cut my thread, and I'll do the same thing for this other side. Arrange it is important so that the lining will not be coming out. Just arrange it, pin it down, and sew it. So after doing that, I'm going to be sewing this up side. So this is the waist side. You can see the opening there. So I'll be sewing this waist side. Our tight is almost ready. You can see how neat this tight is already looking. Adjust it, use enough pin it down, and sew this. This is the waist area. I take out my pins, and it's time to fix the zip. So this zip side here, I'm going to be placing this together like this. Go ahead and measure where the zip is going to end, because that is important. I'm going to be sewing from there, so I'm trying to measure where my zip is going to be. Then I'm going to sew there. Always double stitch, then cut it out. This is between your thigh. If you know how to cut and sew a trouser, a short, you understand the rest. And even if you do not know how to do that, this video is detailed enough for you to understand. So this is between your thigh. Just join it so the trouser will just be whole together. After doing it, I'll go ahead and fix the zip. So I didn't show the process of the zip because the video was already getting too long, and this is what the zip look like. Fix your zip, and you pipe the waist, and you're done. Just go ahead and pipe this part. So you can use any color of fabric for this tight. You can use black, you can use brown, skin tone, whatever color it is, and you are done. Please do not forget to subscribe, drop your comments anywhere you do not understand, and I'll try my best to explain it. Share this video and give this video a thumbs up. See you in my next. Bye.